Good day, everyone. For Telesur, I'm Cody Weddle in Caracas, Venezuela. Thanks for joining us this midday. The 5 Cuban nationals who were imprisoned in the United States for investigating terrorism are visiting Venezuela. The Cuban 5 were honored in the capital here in Caracas on Monday. The group was hailed as heroes for infiltrating right-wing exile groups that plotted against Cuba. They were also praised for enduring prison terms of up to 16 years in the U.S. The final 3 of the Cuban 5 returned home December 17th of last year.
Fernando, Ramos, Antonio, Gerardo, and Rene. Those moments were not in vain. You were and are the flag of the fight and the dignity of our nations. That patience, intensity, consistency, that irreducible character. How many offers you must have had to betray your nation. Turn on the fortune and respect and dignity of the Cuban people, which matches the respect and the dignity of the Venezuelan people.
We'll go to Mexico now, where a new wave of violence is affecting the state of Jalisco. Our correspondent Clayton Kahn is following the latest.
Yesterday, Mexico's security chief Alejandro Rubido confirmed in a radio interview that the dramatic clashes between organized crime and Mexican security forces in the western state of Jalisco this past weekend left a total number of 15 people killed, 7 members of the security forces and 8 cartel members. Now, the capture of the boss of a relatively new and rapidly growing cartel known as the New Generation Jalisco Cartel was the target of a military operation, yet through roadblocks, burning banks, gas stations, and attacks on the military, the cartel resisted, flexing its muscle that extends through various states in western Mexico. Now, the weekend violence also saw the cartel bring down a military helicopter, considered a first by Rubido. The New Generation Jalisco Cartel is considered to be the wealthiest organized crime group in Mexico, dedicating its resources to expanding its influence and market into Europe rather than compete with other Mexican cartels for selling drugs in the United States. This is Clayton Kahn reporting for Telesur here in Mexico City.
We'll go to the U.S. now, where the city of Baltimore was shaken again on Monday after reports from a local news outlet that police had shot a black man. Now, police denied the man had been shot, saying the officer's gun went off accidentally while officers were arresting the man. They have reported that no one was injured. The local news channel apologized for inaccurately reporting on the incident. Despite conflicting reports, the incident drew a crowd of about 100 protesters. And following a week of racially charged protests in Baltimore, U.S. President Barack Obama says that the residual effects of racism have built up over time and created inequality. Obama recognized the effects of slavery, saying that Jim Crow laws and discrimination in American history have left minority communities at a disadvantage. And he later made an appearance on the David Letterman show where he repeated those ideas.
What you have are pockets of poverty, lack of opportunity, lack of education, all across this country. And too often we ignore those pockets until something happens.
As clashes continue in Yemen, preliminary reports indicate that Saudi Arabia has sent in ground troops for the first time. A spokesman for the coalition has denied that a major ground force has been deployed. However, the Yemeni government and militia forces claim that several dozen troops have arrived in the city of Aden. Medical staff in Aden have reported that at least 18 people, most of them civilians, were killed since Saturday, and 65 others have been wounded. A reconciliation forum in the Central African Republic has begun with a hope of reaching peace. Around 700 representatives from political and civil societies are meeting for the week-long reconciliation talks. However, the Seleka rebels who ousted the government in 2013 have boycotted the forum, complaining about irregularities in the organization of the event. Justice, development, and rebuilding the country are just some of the topics that will be discussed. The bodies of 10 migrants have been recovered in Sicily after a rescue operation went wrong. A boat with 179 people on board was being rescued when one of 2 rescue vessels deflated at sea. 7 bodies were discovered on the rubber boats, while 3 bodies were recovered at sea. Reports indicate that 3 men jumped into the Mediterranean when they saw a merchant ship approaching. 6 suspected smugglers have been apprehended by Italian authorities. German police have seized 380 kilograms of cocaine worth over $16 million. The cocaine was reportedly found hidden in a banana shipment. According to a member of the Berlin Drug Offenses Department, this is the largest ever drug find discovered in Berlin. The cocaine has a purity of around 80% and was traced back to one central fruit market in Berlin. Now, despite that, police say they still have not determined where the drugs came from. The May 7th general elections in Great Britain are steadily approaching. They are expected to be some of the closest elections in a generation. Party leaders have entered the final stretch of their 2015 general election campaigns, with polls showing no straight majority for any party. That means whoever wants to govern may have to enter into an alliance, something that is becoming the standard fare there in British politics. Restoring Nepal's World Heritage sites to their former glory could take years of work and cost millions of dollars. That's according to Nepal's Archaeology Department. Nearly 200 sites, which attract tourists, thousands of tourists from around the world to the country, have been damaged by the April 25th earthquake. Among the damaged sites are the most famous, the 3 Durbar squares in Kathmandu, Bhaktapur, and Patan. Archaeologists are working to reconstruct the buildings and will use the same type of material that was used originally. The Metropolitan Museum of Art has a new exhibition titled China Through the Looking Glass. The display illustrates the juxtaposition of Chinese art and Western fashion and design. The exhibition runs from May 7th to August 16th. It is one of the largest undertaken by the museum and has on display 150 dresses, gowns, costumes, and accessories from 40 designers.
I think that the size of the show is quite sort of proportionate to the concept. It really looks at the history of the influence of Chinese aesthetics on Western fashion, which dates back to the Roman Empire. Our story starts in the mid-18th century, so a little bit later. But I think what I think hopefully people will be surprised about is just the length of time, the length of the period of time that China was inspired by the West.
A result of an effort between Taiwan and mainland China, the stolen head of a Buddha statue carved during the Northern Qi Dynasty has been recovered. The rare relic will be placed back on its body where it belongs and put on display to the public in Taiwan by the end of May. The head was one of 3 stolen by a group of thieves in 1992 and 1996. That's what we're covering on this Tuesday midday. Plenty more on those stories and others at our website, telesurtv.net/English. For Telesur English, I'm Cody Weddle. Have a great day.